Hot, crispy, and filled with melted cheese. That's the stuffed tot, and that's what we are talking about today. Hi, I'm Susan Choi, and you are watching a brand new episode of FI Spotlight. And I'm excited to bring on with us Stephen Caldwell, founder of Stuffed Tots, to talk more about his journey as a CPG founder and the evolution of his product, Stuffed Tots. Stephen, thanks so much for joining us again. Welcome back.
Thank you, Susan. Great to be back with you.
It's a pleasure, as always. Okay, so first of all, Stephen, describe to us what exactly are Stuffed Tots.
At the very beginning, 6 years ago, we created it as what used to be called a Swiss Rosti. A Swiss Rosti is a stuffed tot or a stuffed hash brown, broken down into its simplest form. But it originated in Switzerland as peasant food a couple of hundred years ago. Wives would shred potatoes. They would hold leftovers from supper the night before. They would fill the shredded potatoes or the hash browns in the pan, and they would cover them and fry them on both sides. And 200 years later, I coined the phrase Swiss meets West. Thousands and thousands of people across the country that used to be able to purchase them in retail, and now we've pivoted.
Yep, let's get more into that. As you said, you started out being Rosti Stuft Spuds, and we did a spotlight earlier about this product, and it was just blowing up in reputation, in feedback. I remember an anecdote where you said you had a Whole Foods buyer coming up to you and being like, "This is going to go big,"
Right.
So there was a lot of promise, right? So talk to us about this pivot, right? What exactly have you done to transition, and what were the motivations to do so?
The highest number of stores we had were roughly 2,000 to 2,200 mid-2023. We noticed post-COVID that frozen trucking had increased, delivering our brand to retail shelf. National banners that had us on shelf were doubling our promo fees, doubling our marketing ask. The deductions were, basically getting out of control. From the standpoint that the more we spent, we would see a spike in velocity, but the stores just wanted more, and they kept coming back to us saying, "We need to promote this because there's nothing else like it," right? Because not only were we trying to build a brand, Susan, we were building a category that never had been created before. Because we hold a patent on a filled potato, you're not going to see any like products on shelf, which was doubly or even triple, hard. And it is such a capital, driven, when you're in retail, to drive velocity, to manage deductions, to have a team, to be paying brokers an inordinate amount of money to get our brand out there. And after looking at the numbers and all of those things that I just discussed, were happening in mid 2023, I literally woke up one morning and told Lori, "We're out of retail. We have to stop." I said, because if, the definition of insanity is you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If we throw more money at this, if we get this broker and pay them a retainer, if we just keep building our brand and doing more posts on social media, but the bottom line was the bottom line. It wasn't there. Our losses continued to increase. And we had already had a hugely successful LTO, limited time offer, with the 𝗟𝗃 division, where I knew several years ago that a smaller version, grab and go, we've got a patented product, stuffed hash brown filled with cheese, and just break it down to its simplest form. We are now Stuffed Tots, and it has been a journey that it's been tough. The money wasn't there. We were on the verge many times. But knowing that our product spoke for itself, I always knew that there was a way to pull this out, and food service private label was the way to go, and that's what we did.
It must not have been a smooth road, though, really pivoting right from D2C into C-store into private label manufacturing, working with different kinds of distributors, different kinds of, people in general in different subcategories. Tell us, what's been the biggest challenge, or, one or two biggest challenges within this transition, and how have you been able to overcome them or navigate them?
We had already built a relationship with the distributor for the 𝗟𝗃 division. And so we already had that knowledge of how to, once we pivoted, how to move out of the 𝗂𝗏𝘂𝘃𝗃𝗃s and the 𝗂𝗃𝗃s and just literally change lanes and go into the distribution channel and start making these phone calls and opening up communication, and letting them know that we've had this successful LTO. We know what we're doing. We've reduced the size from a 75-gram 2.5 ounce to a 40-gram 1.4 ounce, truly 2 to 3 bite handheld where you can just grab and go it. And we just literally took it from a retail mentality, which is 50 million things that you have to manage on a regular basis, to a food service grab and go successful model that we've already proven, and then just opening up to these stores in convenience, where there's 152,000 convenience stores nationwide, and we're going after all of them. And then co-packing, right? Co-packing was always a challenge. We were never the tall man on the totem pole. We were always low or just above low, because with the co-packers post-COVID, especially where we're par frying these and then freezing them, the line time got so strict and reduced that one of the straws that broke the camel's back a year ago was that we were on a trajectory. We were still doing retail, but I had an opportunity with food service, with a large account that really believed in us in a smaller version. And just as we were getting there, we decided to do a Costco rollout, because our co-packer told us, well, we'll do the food service rollout, a few weeks later. So we do the Costco. I didn't have a great feeling about it. I kept thinking the money is in the convenience, but we did. And then 2 weeks later, another larger account came into our co-packer, and we didn't have the opportunity to do it. And they pushed us out 3 months, and we completely lost that account. So that was the straw, and that was the trajectory that we pivoted.
What would you say to fellow CPG makers out there who might be struggling in similar circumstances and are also possibly considering other strategies, similar pivoting strategies? What advice would you give them about what the circumstances might be like in order to pull the trigger, so to speak? What do you think would be the guidance you would give them on maybe what to look out for, that might indicate to that business that it's time to pivot, it's time to re-strategize?
Look at the history of where you are, where you've been since you've launched your product. Look at what the asks have been in retail: promos, marketing, slotting fees, trucking. Really look at every single thing. And then, of course, the key is velocity. If they're going up and your spend has been managed, and you can really keep an eye on what you're spending and where you're spending it, and you're happy with the trajectory going up, that's one thing. But if anything, if you miss it here or miss it there, there's a lot of the mentality is, well, if I just throw a little more money at it, because this is really my brand, I really want to do this. If I throw a little bit more money on it, if I bring on this next broker and his retainer, really isn't that much in the big picture, we can make it up down the road. If you start looking down the road, like I was doing, that's a no-win situation. You have to be aware of everything that's going on all the time. And if it's not going, if you don't see, get wise counsel around you, and if your finance people don't see a window that is going to continue to do this, pause and look at your opportunities. That's exactly what exactly what I would tell them. And don't be afraid to just pause and stop the insanity.
Wise words indeed from Stephen Caldwell, founder of Stuft Tots. Stephen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Susan, so very much.
And as always, you can check out more of our great content by clicking on this playlist. Till next time, I'm Susan Choi. Take care.